That's
I know.
okay.
It's
We
good
can leave it. It's our show. Fuck them.
Getting down to some bluegrass here.
That's right. That's okay. Banjo never hurt nobody. Well, I guess it might have did when it comes to the Civil War. Or was that slavery?
Pretty sure that was slavery.
Well, welcome.
It was deliverance that the banjo hurt people.
Oh, literally. Yes.
Roll the video.
Oh, yeah. I guess I should play the video.
Yeah.
We're taking this episode off. Hold on. I got to find it now. All right. Going live. There we go.
Welcome to the first Vocal Plane podcast with Sean and Rooster.
Listen to John Johnston shred those guitars, eh? What a kid. I love that guy. What's up, dude?
All right.
Oh,
You know,
what a day.
Shit and stuff.
Shit. That's it for the show, folks. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining.
Life is
All
good.
right.
Life is grand. How are you guys?
I'm just
Doing
good.
okay. Bloody cold.
It is.
Fuck, is it nuts? It's actually got quite a bit warmer. I think it was only minus 45 today, whereas yesterday was minus 46.
Minus 49 in the city that rhymes with fun today.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Had to change the battery in my truck today. That wasn't fun.
Ugh.
Even though it took like 3.5 minutes, still wasn't fun.
Yeah, it still costs money.
Yeah, it did.
That's
Should we get into
terrible.
this?
Let's do
What are
it.
we getting into? Oh, are we doing a
Intro.
show?
We're doing
Yeah.
a show. Yeah.
Oh,
We're live and in charge.
hey,
Just
let's
because
do a
we've been
show.
on here for 2 hours.
Yeah, my
Talking.
beard
Look at
is-
that clear can.
I know, right?
Groovy.
This is the latest in technology, folks.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the first Focal Plane podcast, episode 34, where my phone is on. And where your wildest dreams come true. Then you wake up and realize that it was a nightmare all along.
Hey.
Witty.
Is it?
Witty.
It's the only one I've written, and it's absolute dog shit.
No, I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. Like,
It was good. It was good.
Kurt's
Like,
putting
nice.
it down, and then you're putting yourself down. Like, I think it was good writing.
Thanks,
No,
buddy. Thanks,
I
buddy.
meant witty. Like
I
like
can't wait for the
complimentary.
fucking sequel.
Well, here it comes. We are proudly brought to you by EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta, Canada's premier precision builder of lightweight hunting rifle starter packages and king of 2 mile competitors. EM Precision has the right stuff to get you running with surgical precision. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at emprifles.ca.
You bet. You bet. And I wish I had a cup of this right now, but we are also brought to you by Bolt Action Coffee Company, who bring you exclusive award-winning specialty coffees to not just the precision shooting community, but the community in general. Boasting specialty coffee company scores of 85.5 or higher, Bolt Action Coffee Roast will get your morning started right and keep you on target all day long. I personally enjoyed a cup or a thermos full of Scopes Up today. So, which reminds me, Miles, we need a restock.
Hint, hint.
Well,
But-
Sean, all you have to do when you're buying your coffee online is use.
First Focal Plane in all caps, and you get 10% off your order because who wants to pay government theft? Not I. So,
Damn right.
you bet.
Hey, you know what? First of all, Complaint Podcast is also brought to everybody who is listening by Call Sign 66. Call Sign 66 is a veterans-based organization founded to facilitate multi-generational passage of information, ballistic applications, R&D, and shooter development. Within CS66, the passage of information is omnidirectional. That means all directions. Our organizational philosophy is such that we all have something to offer, and there is always room for improvement. We as a community are our own best asset for learning. Welcome to the Brotherhood.
Love the way you say
Sweet.
that.
I do too.
Yeah, you
Does
do
that
it
make
really
me a
well.
narcissist if I love my own voice?
Nah. A little bit vain,
Kinda.
maybe, but I don't think narcissistic.
Nah, kinda.
Well, we were talking off air, and we'll send you a bill in the mail for our psychological assessment later at $150 an hour.
I've needed one of those for quite a while.
Anyway. Yeah, so this week, guys, we don't have a guest. We want to take a little bit of a break. Hey, there's my mama.
Bonga.
That's my mom. Hi, Mom. Anyway, so, yeah, we want to take a bit of a break from guests this week to just kind of talk. We haven't done this in a while, so here we are. And there's some things we want to talk about and some things we don't, but we'll see where the conversation goes. So welcome, everybody.
Where should we start?
Well, let's start with who we are. I am Sean. I'm an ag equipment specialist, father of one, and shooter extraordinaire, or trying to be anyway.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I like things that go boom.
You know what? Who on the internet is going to tell you you're not anyway?
I know many people.
Okay, maybe.
Ominous.
Anyway. Yes. Who's next? Chris.
Well, I'm just rewriting mine. Well, hey guys, my name is Chris. I'm a shooting enthusiast, a lifelong martial arts practitioner, and lover of violent pursuits. I enjoy long walks on the beach and punching people in the face.
His OnlyFans handle is mixed martial art Dom.
Yeah, it's long punch 43.
Long, tall, and shiny 43.
I need more oil.
What is
That's illegal.
OnlyFans anyway?
Oh, what is
Don't
it?
pretend that you don't know what
No, I
OnlyFans
know.
is.
I
Everybody
promise
knows
you,
it all.
I don't.
OnlyFans is that thing that you try to wipe off your screen real fast every time Nancy walks into the room.
Well, I was just going to say,
I'm
you know
old.
how
I don't
you
have
get,
that problem.
well, you know how you get those free, awesome photos of Nancy, right? You do. You get those awesome proprietary photos.
Okay.
Well,
just before Sean gets me in trouble, he's talking about you. I do not have photos of Nancy.
Yeah, neither do I.
Okay.
Nancy is a saint.
It would be
and
short-lived.
and a hero. Anyway, imagine if Nancy got paid for those photos by strangers. That's only fair.
I'm listening.
I'm listening. Go on.
Nancy, on the other hand, is preparing divorce. I guess you're not. Are you guys married? I don't know. Are you guys married?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then there's no divorce papers.
I suppose in the eyes of the law, maybe.
Yeah,
technically speaking.
Yeah. She's still entitled to half your shit, right? So
Yeah.
Did you say happier shit or half of your shit? Yeah.
half your shit.
Or maybe both.
Based on Nancy's reaction, I think that Sean just helped her realize something.
I can make more
Maybe.
money. Wow.
Yeah. Would you like
Well,
to
I
make
would-
more money? Sure, we all would.
I always wanted to see your mama. Never knew where to find her. Lo and behold.
Speaking of, Kurt, who the hell are you?
All right. I'm just the boring guy. I don't know. I'm Kurt. I'm in construction, father of 3, shoot as much as I can, work as much as I can. I don't know, precision and long range, and Sean and Chris and some other guys are trying to get me into shotgun and pistol as best they can. It's a long road, but I am totally noob. I'm putty in their hands.
Well, you know how you got me the thing that's that was in this case? Well, I got you something that's in another case that's a lot smaller. That's not
You're gonna
quite
make
as
me
accurate.
blush and
It's
giggle.
a pill bottle.
Right. Better not be adult novelty shit.
Or is it?
Or maybe it is. Yeah.
Does it have
Just
to
a little
be
bit of a
adult
different.
novelty? Can it just be adult without the novelty?
Well, let's say it shoots.
Is it not
100
novelty though?
I don't even know
Smith
what that
and Wesson,
means.
Smith and Wesson adult novelty. I like it.
Patent that shit.
A new division.
I would
Does
buy
it shoot like light purple ammunition?
it. No, it shoots copper colored things. It shoots 124 grain pills that we have loaded.
Does it
up.
have vibratory feedback in the grips?
Absolutely, it does. Well, it's a
It's adult
function of the
novelty.
entire thing. Yeah. I don't know that it has different levels though. Different modes.
Well, I guess could each round be classified as a level?
Well, you know what? Put plus P ammo in there, and then you got different levels.
Maybe.
Or don't, because it won't handle it.
So you're saying you got me a crap gun?
No, it's a great gun.
It is a good gun.
Do what you want. I don't give a fuck.
Did you actually
you
tell
do.
people what it is, or are we just
we
beating
showed
around
it.
the world's
Why not?
dumbest bush here?
I think everybody knows. Oh, thanks
Okay.
for bugging out there, Chris.
Oh, did I bug out?
Yeah, you did. So did Sean.
What does that mean?
That's your internet, bud. That's not us. Good old
Sean, you
StreamYard.
just disappeared.
No, I am here.
Why don't you
You
go
just
throwing
be
blame
quiet.
around? Oh yeah, no, it's not my problem. It's not me. It's you.
Anyway,
All right.
yeah, he's having trouble. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, we got Kurt Kurt got Kurt. I didn't buy shit. Kurt got it for him. M&P 9 standard gun. No special, nothing special. It was Bullseye London. After we ordered it, after we had Ken Thiessen on.
That night, actually, because of that sale that was on that night. How
It was
fortunate.
like the last night of it, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they had the 12 days of Christmas or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, you bet.
Here's the question. So
Mhm.
I'll just say, like, the M&P is your first pistol.
Yes.
The M&P was the first pistol that I ever bought myself. I
Me too.
inherited several handguns from my father, and it was
Too.
your first as well. So
Yes.
Chad is asking us, he says, hey, speaking of pistols, finally got my restricted after 10 months of waiting. Any suggestions on a first handgun? I think we're all probably going to recommend the
There's a theme here.
Well, okay, no, I will not.
You're
Okay,
not?
Okay,
Okay.
let me back up. So, okay, the M&P is a great platform for any shooter. What I'm concerned with, especially with Kurt, is that the garbage trigger, because it does have that garbage trigger in it,
It is
the
a
non-updated
serious
trigger,
Yeah.
you could potentially develop bad habits. Okay, so what I would recommend is I would budget for the pistol, that like whatever it's going to be. If you get a range kit, I think they're like $600, $700. Budget for an Apex trigger. Okay, or you can spend $800 and get a Glock 7 or a Glock 17, Glock 19, whatever. But Glocks are special. They got that funky grip angle, and it's go to the Chad if you're listening still. Go to the store. go because I think Chad's in Saskatoon. Go to Cabela's. Go to Saskatoon Gunworks. Finger fuck a few of them, right? Go and see. Well, no, like fiddle around with them. See what fits. See what fits your hand. Use the isosceles stance and push forward and see what fits you good. Because what works for me and what works for Chris and what might work for Kurt might not work for you, right? So it's all about trying it out. And I know that these sausage hands that, Glocks used to bite the shit out of my fat pad here. And until Glock, the Gen 4 Glocks had that, they came out with that beaver tail on it now. So it doesn't bite me anymore, which is good. And I currently have one now. So, but just go try it. And Jens brings up a good point. The Walther PPQ is a great option to start. It arguably has the best factory trigger out of all of them. In my opinion, the PPQ M5, which I think retails for around $800, same as a Glock 17. But another option that you have to think of is accessories. So not just the pistol, but magazine, holster, sights.
That is one thing that's nice about the M&P is that in Canada for the last many years, there has been what do they call it? The range kit.
Well,
right.
It's like like $150 more than the pistol on its own. It comes with 4 magazines, comes with a holster, comes with a blueless speed loader.
Yeah.
It's a nice addition if you find one that's got a decent price on it.
And that's the problem, right? Like they're on gun nuts all the time. You can find one for, but
sure, yeah.
But M&Ps have a range kit too, right? Or not just M&Ps, pardon me, PPQs have a range kit as well. And arguably, they have the best factory trigger.
Doesn't the
out there.
PPQ only come with 2 or 3 magazines though?
3.
The range kit is at 3? Yeah.
Yes, I'm certain. But and Jens brings up the HK. Well, some guys. Like an HKV, they're great. Like all striker fired polymer guns. I don't care what anyone says. They're great. They're great starter guns.
He's talking about the 45 caliber Mark.
No,
Mark IV.
no, like the HK SFP9 or SF9, I can't remember what it's called, and the VP9 are both polymer striker fired pistols that both are arguably great. But again, what works for me and what works for Kurt might not work for you guys, right? So you got to go in and finger blast these things and make sure that they're good for you. So.
And for the love of God, make sure that you announce loudly to the attendant behind the counter and to anyone else who might be around. Once you hold a pistol in your hands, when you hand it back to him, say, feels really good in the hand. Every single time.
Yeah.
Every single pistol.
They love to hear that shit.
Yeah. It's the number one criteria.
Yeah, it's not like they hear that 300,000 times a day.
Exactly.
You know, Mike and Jim are both say the Canic TP9, which is a great budget-friendly pistol, but the problem is finding mags and accessories for it. That's the problem. So, whereas Jim also says the CZ P10, that's a great pistol as well.
Here's another thing to consider. First of all, the SFP9 is a great handgun. I really like it, but it's not in that $400 to $600 range either, though, I don't think. But anyway, when Mike was mentioning the Glock, it really depends on what you want to do afterwards too. Like, are you planning on getting, for example, a Ruger PC9, right? If you want to be able to use the same magazines in a pistol carbine as you're using in your handgun, then yeah, you get a freaking Glock. Do you want to be able to convert your handgun into an SBR with something like a Micro Roni, or that's the older model? What's the new model?
No,
now?
they're all
They
the
still make
Micro Roni.
Whatever the macaroni, whatever the hell, they make that for an M&P. They make it for a SIG P226, but the majority of them are Glocks.
Well, and a SIG P320, they make one for that as well. But
the 320s as well. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and so it all depends what you want to do.
Not the 226, it's just the 320, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the 320. Yeah. I don't think it's a 226.
Yeah.
But no, they're great. So it all depends what you do with it. And M&P mags are out there, Glock mags are out there. They're all the same price. It just depends what you want to do. But
if you want to be an IPSC dude, then a lot of people will tell you just to get the Shadow 2. That
or a STI 2011. Style or an open gun, don't start in production and learn your skills.
So you're talking about developing bad habits. First thing I could think of is I'm damn near 50 years old. I got a lot of fucking bad habits.
Yeah, but are they real?
We're not talking about like not paying your credit card off every month or something like that.
Yeah, it's about like trigger press and sight picture and that sort of thing, and proper reloading technique and it's
good. We had this conversation several days ago about exactly that, and it's something I never would have thought of on a rifle. Absolutely, it's not even top of mind anymore. It's just part of my setup. It's just part of what I do every goddamn time. But with a pistol, I wouldn't even think it. Well, I'd think of it, I'm sure, but I don't know if I would know to diagnose it properly. Like, why the fuck am I hitting low and left all the time?
Yeah,
this piece of shit.
Well, it's the same. Like Miles from Call Sign will say, let's look at your fundamentals. Let's break it down. Let's see what are you doing with your trigger press? What are you doing with your standard isosceles stance? What do you like? You can break it down, all the fundamentals. And Earl Green says it best. If you can't pull the trigger properly, you're not going to hit shit.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And that's why I say the M&P, if you're going to use it, upgrade the trigger, because it's dog shit. There's so much take up. There's that little pivot action in the middle of the trigger that, it kind of screws you up, and it's
great
kind of
if you're carrying a duty pistol and you don't want to accidentally fire it when you're taking it out because you have poor fundamentals. But any other reason, it's not a very good trigger.
So is that why they put those triggers in there? Is for?
I think that's supposed to be the idea behind them, isn't it? It's supposed to be a hard break so that really, if you're pulling the trigger, it's intentional.
Okay, so let's break it down. So Smith & Wesson, the M&P is essentially a Smith & Wesson Sigma pistol. And the Sigma was developed to be a Glock killer, and it was essentially a rebranded Glock with different aesthetic features, okay? And Glock sued the ever-living fuck out of Smith & Wesson and won. So that's why you don't see the Sigma. So they redesigned their pistol with different grip angle, blah, 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 trigger, proprietary trigger, etc., and came out with the M&P. And part of that was, they developed their own proprietary trigger, which, at the time, they vaulted it as, that hinge, it's a hinge safety mechanism, so you're not going to accidentally discharge or whatever. But really, it created a problem that didn't exist, in the sense that, that hinge creates a very mushy take-up. And it also doesn't give you an audible tactile reset, okay, which are two prominent steps in trigger press when it comes to pistol. And so that's where companies like Apex comes. I can't remember the full company name, but if you just Google Apex trigger M&P, it's out there. But Apex has made a living doing that, and they're
Apex Tactical.
There you go, Apex Tactical.
Apex Tactical Specialties.
And so, they built their business on the M&P and redoing people's M&Ps. And then they're like, hey, if we're getting people to send us our M&Ps, why don't we just make a solution that they can do themselves? And came out with different springs, etc. And it's actually quite ingenious. So
they're stateside, I imagine.
They are in Washington, I believe.
Okay.
Met the guy, their face of the company is a guy named Scott Folk. I met him down in Nashville at the NRA annual meetings in 2015, and great guy, great company. They're trying to bring out their triggers for every platform. So they have a SIG P320, a Glock 17 trigger. Not that it needs it, but they got it. They're all over the map now. So, but they also developed a proprietary armorer's block, they call it, that. You just lay your parts in and you lay your frame in, and it does the work for you. There's no
it's like a puzzle.
Around.
I like puzzles.
Yeah, it's got it, and it has lots of pictures on the instruction manual.
I like farm animals in them.
But no, with the M&P, what I found is that with the stock trigger in it, and if your trigger press is not proper and your fundamentals are not there, you're going to shoot low to the left. Because you're going to overcompensate for that mushy trigger, and you're going to start pulling. Because when you think about it, a rifle, you have so much length of work to do that, yes, you can still fuck up the trigger press, but it's not going to be the same as when you have a 4-inch or 4.25-inch barrel, right? So every little minutia is going to pull that gun one way or another. Like, especially with recoil mitigation, that's why I stress proper grip. Because if you're just going to limp wrist the fucking gun, it's going to go all over the place and you're not going to hit nothing. But if you're pushing out and you're nice and solid and you got a proper meat on the gun, I call it, and you have proper trigger press, you're going to hit everything all the time. But that comes with practice and dry fire and range time.
This is going to be really interesting. What's that, Chris?
And an Apex trigger.
Yeah.
But no, no, you can train. Like,
you should be able to overcome that.
You can.
To some
I
degree.
did.
Well, mine's completely stock. I haven't done anything to my M&P. Literally nothing. I have the shit trigger and everything. Love it.
It should be really interesting for me, honestly, transitioning from pretty really only rifles. A little bit of shotgun work in my past, but very little, and zero pistol, other than the time that I've spent with you, Sean, and Jens,
which is nothing,
zero.
Yeah,
that's like
that's what I like about
guns,
though.
rounds.
I mean, you shoot a rifle, that's one thing. You shoot a pistol, that's another. Shoot a shotgun, that's another. Semi-auto, bolt action, man, guns. That's why guns are so great. There's so much to look at, and look at when we were talking with Mr. Click there, like lifelong, military sniper, and he's like, I don't do handgun. He still hasn't. There's still so much more for him to explore there.
It was at that point that I fell in love with him. You're talking my language.
Yeah, have you been messaging with him since?
Yes, I have.
But no,
I'm smitten.
we definitely need to spend some time. We can't take it out to your range because you don't have a certified range. But when you come to Regina, we can put you on the line, and I can put you through a quick course. And
you don't
not
know
that
how
I'm
much I'm
certified
looking forward to this. Honestly, like
that'll be good.
Yeah.
One thing we do need to talk
Seriously.
about though is getting all of us, because we all have a pump 12 gauge. Okay.
Mhm.
I want to get Earl Green out to your range, Kurt, and I want to do a hardcore shotgun course with Earl. Because Earl, that boy, he can run a fucking shotgun. I can tell.
I want to see grown men cry. I like that.
Or
Run him into the ground.
We could even reach out to Jody Levesque at Agogi and bring him down and get us to really show us how to fucking.
He's a little harder to. He's a little harder to nail down, though. I think.
Well, definitely. He's.
Does he ever come back to Saskatchewan anymore?
Well, I think he still has his property, but
where did he go?
Well,
he's been running in Alberta for the last several years because of all the problems he was having with the outgoing CFO.
Yeah, I knew about the problems. But
Not that I know anything about the
he
guy. I just
away.
heard this stuff in the
Well,
background. I've never taken a course of his, but
because there's a strict training rule in the CFOs where you cannot train in the same mindset as military or law enforcement as a civilian. Mm-hmm. And he had and this is hearsay. I've never taken a course from Jody, but he had, to my knowledge, a kill house, which is railway ties and room clearing for carbine courses there that he was offering to civilians, which I think got him shut down. Now this is all speculation, guys, and cannot be confirmed, but that's why he moved his operation strictly out of the Red Deer Shooting Center.
Is that right? I thought it had something to do with the berms that he had set up. I know he ran into trouble with that.
That could be the excuse.
That's
right?
interesting. Yeah, for sure.
From what I understand, he was teaching people to do bodyguarding, CQB sort of stuff, and that's supposed to be what he was using the kill house for. But it's hard to say, none of us actually know the guy, and we're just all going based on what we've heard from other people. But
that's right.
It seems pretty clear that he was having whether they were legitimate or how legitimate. It seems clear he was having some sort of disagreements with the old CFO in Saskatchewan, and it's probably been like 5 years now. Wow, it's probably been 5 years now that he has been almost exclusively in
about that.
Red Deer now. Hey,
or 2015, 2016, I think was the last.
I think a buddy of mine did one of his last carbine courses in Saskatchewan in it was 14 or 15,
which is too bad because it looked like a pile of fun. It did.
My buddy loved it when he went to the course. He said it was fantastic.
Yeah. And he there's videos of guys that were, which would have been good for guys like me because, there are videos of his level 2 carbine courses where it's not just about shooting. It's about the physical fitness aspect. So he would make you and a partner pick up a railway tie and move it 200 yards and then run sprints there to the end of the berm and back, pick up your rifle and then engage targets. But, he was using
mini Bud, Saskatchewan.
Well, no, it wasn't quite that intense, but it was for me, I would have fucking died because I'm a big fat guy. But that's something that I would miss or that I would want to do. And unfortunately, we don't have that. But then guys are showing up in full kit, plate carriers, nods, bump helmets, etc. And then he's posting videos all over social media. He got put on the radar and CFO shut him down. Right. So
can't have that in a civilized society.
Exactly. But anyway, but no, we should have Earl or Jody or whoever come out and do a shotgun course and just show us how to run those guns hard and, hard enough that we break them. And like we show, like we learn how to fix these malfunctions. Like we break a bolt carrier or whatever. Right. And this is how you fix it. And this is the ins and outs here, 870 or whatever. Right.
Well, I'm poor, so you break your bolt carrier.
You're right, hey. I was just envisioning me switching grabbing the damn thing by the barrel and starting to swing it.
Just swing it over your head.
Yeah, that's my only repair.
Well, but if like say what you will about the man, but James Yeager, I follow quite religiously, and outside of his revolutionary talk and shit like that, he talks about guys showing up with custom build AR-15s to his courses, and they break them like within hours, and like whether trigger pins walk out or they're breaking hammers or whatever, it's there's certain ways to train, and if you're not the old saying, if it ain't raining, it ain't training. And if you're not breaking something, you're doing it wrong. So, because you want to test yourself, you want to know your limits. And
by the same token, we used to take that mentality to martial arts training, and then we ended up with assholes like me who, at the age of 40, have hip arthritis because we tore the joint capsules so many times, and it's all scar tissue now. Yeah. I think you have to push yourself to the limit for sure. You have to find out what your limitations are. You certainly don't have to do it every time, but
absolutely not.
Yeah.
But if you're paying for a course, if you're paying for somebody to teach you how to do something like the call sign courses or whatever, I want to get every penny out of that I can. And if I, like, for example, when I took the Earl Green Carbine 1 course, my trigger pins started walking out, and it almost ruined my day. And Earl's like, whatever, man, figure it out. Shit like that happens. I acknowledge there's a problem, find a solution, and move forward. Because not saying that this is ever going to happen, but in a gunfight, you don't have the luxury, like, my gun broke. Earl, my trigger pins walked out. It's like, no, it's,
I don't know. That looked pretty pathetic. I might just let you go if you did that to me.
Yeah.
So just go.
But anyway, we're going off the beaten path.
Well, what the hell else are we going to do? It's just us.
Well, I wanted to. Okay, so let's dive into some precision stuff. So, Kurt, you're competing at King of 2 Miles with Jens, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So
with
you guys settled
Team EM.
Team EM Precision. Look at that.
You betcha.
Sweet. So they're building you a gun, right?
Yes, sir.
And what is that chambered in?
Souls. That's a 33XC. It's basically a growed up 338 Lapua.
Why?
Why? Because why not?
Yeah. Tell me about it. Talk to me like I'm 5.
Because 3,200 feet per second with a 300 grain burger. That's why.
Ooh.
So the little guy is the little guy.
The little guy's a 50 caliber.
Is the 338 Lapua. And the one beside it is the 33XC. It's a whole lot of freaking great.
So what are the benefits of a 33XC comparative to a 338 Lapua Magnum?
Well, from the guys that really know, the 338 Lapua run out of poop around 2,000 yards or something like that. I can't remember what the hell they're getting for muzzle velocity with the 300, but it's somewhere around 2,900, 2,850, maybe something like that. Whereas this guy here with the 300 is getting anywhere from 3,100 to 3,250, depending on how hard you push it.
So 300 to 400 extra feet per second.
Yeah. Right. If I recall correctly, I'm certain that Lapua is down around 2,800, 2,850.
What difference are we talking about in terms of bullet weight between
zero
the two?
They're both shooting the 300 grain. Yeah.
Okay.
You bet. Yeah. So it's, and I mean, you can say whatever you want about ballistics. Sure, you get, something going 300 feet per second, 400 feet per second slower than another one. Bullet drop is easy, really easy. It's the wind deflection that kills every guy. Mm-hmm. So the way to get around that is to make it go faster, to cut through that air a little better, to spend less time in the air. More time in the air equals more drift. Mm-hmm. It's just that simple. So the benefit with this guy, I mean, over the 338 Lapua is clear, more powder equals like it's that same old argument with with engine. There's no replacement for displacement, right? So this guy's got more displacement. It's got more power. It's going to go faster, going to get you there quicker, going to get you there with less wind drift. Now, the next step beyond this guy is something like a shy tack or a snipe tack or something like that, which require this guy is same bolt face diameter as the Lapua. So same actions that you'll shoot a Lapua in, you can shoot this guy in. You get any bigger than this, you got to step up to a bigger action. And that's a whole lot more money, bigger press, a lot more powder. I think starting load for the 33XC is 115 grains of your chosen powder, 115, 116 grains, something like that. I think the Lapua is down around 94, if I'm not mistaken. You get up into the snipe tacks and the shy tacks and that. I think they're, maybe I shouldn't say, I don't recall exactly, but they're substantially more powder. I know Steve Amblin was getting, I think he's around 3250, 3300, something like that, with his 338 snipe tack. But he's burning a hell of a lot more powder. So I don't know. You can get into all sorts of discussion and talk about voodoo and case efficiency and all that bullshit. But where the hell was I going with that? I can't remember. But
Shane says the Steve is 137 grains and 3,260.
Yeah, I was going to say around 140.
That's
or something
unreal.
like that.
Yeah.
But
to get a big bullet going that fast, that's insane. But I guess, like you said, you want to mitigate the air time on it, which is, is then, like you said, the longer it stays in the air, the more susceptible to wind it's going to be.
Yeah,
and at the end, when you're shooting out to 3,200 meters, you could have 3 to 4 to 5 wind changes in there. That's insane.
Oh God, you can have 3 to 4 to 5 wind changes on my range alone. The way that damn thing's laid out.
That day we were shooting, I think we had 10 or 12 before we got to 1,000.
That was after 4 drinks, though, Sean.
Shh. We are saying about.
The other thing about the 33XC is it's really been proven actually in the King of 2 Miles. In France, it's I'm not going to say it's a long-standing champion, but it's won the King of 2 Miles France at least a couple of times. They've placed exceptionally well since David Tubb came out with this caliber. So it has a quite a well-proven pedigree as far as I'm concerned. Well enough for us to shoot it anyway. So Shane's going with a 33XC. Jens is going with 33XC and I am as well. Steve's sticking with his 338 snipe tack for good reason, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's no going back for him, I don't think. He's already got the action in the press and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to shooting this thing. It's it'll be an experience. The furthest I've shot so far is 1,506 yards with my. What the hell was that? Oh, no, I made hits at 1,400 and something with a 308, if you can imagine.
Oh,
yeah. So it'll be really interesting trying to stretch this guy out to 3,200 and some meters. 3,220, I think is 2 miles.
So how do you prepare for that? Like how can you practice, especially since you don't have geographically a range that can get you that far, right?
Now this is my method, and whether or not it's right is anybody's guess, really. I've kind of committed to practicing like crazy with 308. 308. Okay, so here's my here's my thought process. Initially, 308 is it's slower. Little easier to spot. Jens and I need practice spotting. We do all right with what we've done so far in our shooting careers, but I think we need to get a whole lot better if we're going to try and poke out to 2 miles. So there's that part of it. 308's a lot cheaper. I can take, if we take 308 to 2,000 miles, it might replicate
2,000 miles. Jesus.
What did I say? Miles? 2,000 meters. Sorry. Try and stay with me here.
Right. I'm with you, man.
We were with you until you said 2,000
Right.
miles.
Yeah. Well, aren't we talking about shooting at the moon?
Yes.
So that's kind of my thought process. Practice like hell with that. I mean, we've got to confirm.
So why do you practice with a 308?
Well, cost is one thing. That's if I shot 400 rounds of 33XC, it would cost me a whole pile of money that my ex probably wants more than I do. So, but like I said, it's a little bit slower, easier to spot wind. You can still get out there, and by the time 308 passes 1,000 yards or 1,000 meters, it's chugging along at kind of a Model T pace. Yeah. And you've really got to be. I've always said, Sean, you've heard me talk lots about almost any 6.5 caliber versus the 308. Yeah. The 308 will make you get back to fundamentals like you wouldn't believe. The 6.5 guys, and I'm one of them, but shit, I've got 3 of the fucking things. You get spoiled. You don't have to pay attention to your fundamentals so much. You don't have to account for wind so much. You take a 308 out there with a heavier bullet, and it's like I said, it's just kind of happily chugging along at a slow pace, and it gets blown around a lot at those extended distances. Shane says 308 to a mile. Well, that's going to be one of the goals this summer for sure. And there's no question. This is going to sound arrogant. There's no question I'll get there. I'm not going to say in how many rounds.
It doesn't sound arrogant. It sounds confident.
It does it? Okay. Well, there's a fine line, right?
Without confidence, you can't win. So.
That's right.
Doug says ICBM caliber.
You got a couple other questions here too. So Thomas wants to know if you have to form the brass.
0. This is 33XC brass. David Tubb came out with this whole design. Plus he had all this brass made. This is Peterson brass. I think Shane, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's who David Tubb works with for the brass. I'm not sure what else is out there for brass, honestly. But 0 fire forming. How long will the barrel last, James? Kopak
that depends on if he grabs it by the barrel and starts swinging it over his head.
Well, yeah. Somewhere between 800 and 1,000 rounds, I believe, is what most guys are claiming. So it's a high burn rate fucking deal for sure. Yeah, Peterson only, Shane says. Okay, thank you.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm. Shane says get a 9-twist 308 and some 185 juggernauts. Well, you know what? Right now, and you guys are gonna laugh like crazy. I've got the old Res Dog 308. It's it's a cobbled together grandma's patchwork quilt rifle. But the old bugger shoots pretty well. Yeah. Well, that's the rifle that I shot a full size IPSC at 1,400 and some meters with last year. So and that was dead center mass. Not that I did it every time, but you make a couple of hits out there and you feel pretty good about yourself. Out to 1,000, it was good. And those were with 175 tipped Match Kings. What I've got right now to make things extra miserable for me is just 168 Hornady Bowtail hollow points. So I've got a bunch of them, so we'll shoot them off, see how well they do. And then I'll probably switch to 175 Match Kings or something like that, get it stretched out to a mile.
Hey, change the subject. Speaking of bullets, have you seen what like Bullseye London and Select Shooting Supplies? They came out with their case of American Eagle 223.
Oh my God.
55 grain. and
Yeah.
it's
It was like
700
62 cents a round or something like
well
that.
749 for 1,000 at Select, and then I think Bullseye's got it for $6.99. I think,
Yeah.
which is holy fuck. I remember when that was $300 a case. Like that's insane. And people wonder why I reload for blaster ammo.
Right.
That's why.
No kidding.
You know what though? That's probably temporary though. Like we'll probably
think?
see that for 2021. But you know, if the
Okay.
world finally decides to quit, you know, shitting in one hand and feeding it to themselves with the other hand,
That's a big if, though, Chris.
sure it is. I understand that.
How much have you ever seen that stuff come down? Like we've gone through a few shortages in the last decade, even, and we all thought the same thing. Like the prices just went up like crazy. We thought, and then shops started restocking and getting more product in, and the goddamn prices never came down.
No, and they
there
won't.
is
Why would
to
they?
consider.
Yeah, it's the human nature, right? If demand is there, people are going to pay it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, like Dennis Lair here says the price of components. I've never seen the price. Oh shit, wrong one. Dennis Lair says I've never seen the price of components come down ever.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong. Like looking at like primers, for example, they're like for blaster ammo primers, they're $40 1,000. Weren't they 12 like a decade ago? or 15 years ago? So
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And
Is Jens talking about the same thing here?
he says once it's up, it stays up. Well,
Attaboy, Yenzi.
amongst other
If
things.
it's for longer than 4 hours, you should seek medical attention.
Yeah. Consult your physician.
Consult your wife. I mean, what?
Or your wife's physician.
But that's insane. So are we going to start seeing that? Like that's on factory ammo. Are we going to start seeing that trickle down to powder and components?
Absolutely, we will.
Probably.
That's fuck.
Absolutely.
Well, and even the price of SKSs in the last month, like on gun nuts, people are selling them for standard Russian refurbs for $600.
Wasn't it
you're
Wolverine last month got a shipment of Russian SKSs in, and I think they were either just over or just under 600. And like the comments were just like WTF, holy shit, what the fuck. So they in the description they put like, hey, this is the fucking way the world's going, like don't yell at me. Their cost on them is skyrocketing too.
Well, when people used to buy Lee Enfield number 4 Mark 1s for $20 out of a bucket at the Sears Bargain Center, and now going to a full wood one, you're looking at $1,000, give or take. SKS is Mosins too. I remember when I bought my first garbage rod, it was $140 with 1,000 rounds of ammo from SFRC, South Frontenac Rental Center, and now they're selling for $500-$600.
Yep.
Like,
buddy of mine bought his several years ago for about $150. Sold it late last year for just over $500.
Oh my God.
So Mike
And then
Heineck
bought a Ruger PC carbine.
Well, exactly. Mike Heineck says Canada needs its own domestic producer of civilian ammunition, not factory reloads, full production, brass primers, etc. We have IVI, and they will not sell to civilians.
Yeah, I was just going to say they're not on the civilian market.
No.
Yeah.
Same thing
Do we
as
have them?
Well, same thing as Colt Canada, right? We had Philadelphia on the show, and it was they just started like 2014, 2015, they started selling their carbines, the SA-20 and then the IUR upper to civilians, only because they had a huge runoff from a Danish contract that was like, so why can't we have that? And like he said, we need to start bringing some of this stuff in-house instead of going to federal CCI Spear, or Cellular and Ballot or Hornady or, as much as they're all great.
Yeah, I think there's some government teeth in there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got to be hell for a company to try to break into that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
understandably.
can only imagine.
Look at the explosive magazine restrictions on mines, for example. Imagine if you're storing a whole or multiple sea cans full of powder and components.
Yeah.
And primers, you're looking at, huge regulations. That's going to price you out of the market,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, for
Well, and
sure.
that's the other problem is, you get the American manufacturers, they're making for a population of 330 million first and everyone else second.
Yeah.
You get people in Canada, you're making for a population of 33 million or 37 million.
Well, it's not only that. Like,
Does it matter?
what is there?
But the point
million
is
gun owners
good
in
luck
Canada.
breaking into the market
Yeah.
of 330 million because there's already way more well-established people. So it's got to be hard for a company to do that. I imagine you probably need some pretty serious investors with a pretty high risk tolerance, and then you probably need somebody who really knows government regulations like the back of their hand.
And that's the thing with the boot on the throats now, especially with COVID. Who's going to take that sort of risk? Nobody. Zero.
Yep.
You look at
That's
what
why
they're
we
doing
don't have
now,
anyone.
like ADI powders, which gives us Hodgdon powders, right, from Australia.
Mhm.
It came out, it's probably 6 weeks ago now, that Ben at Extreme Range Outfitters showed me an email. It was just a warning from a supplier that the government is putting an additional 6% tax on any powder coming from Australia. Now, why they singled out Australia, I don't know.
Because they're a bunch of uppity dicks.
I guess so. Fucking criminals. But who? Our government or the Australian?
Boy, mate, you call that gunpowder, mate.
Yeah. do we have to choose between the two? Can't it be both?
I'd take Australia over our government any day.
Mike
I
says,
don't
Mike Heineck says, we have 2 civilian shot shell producers, both in Manitoba. I know of Score. What's the other one? Is it
Yeah, I
Black
was
Eagle
aware
or because I've got a case of Canadian made shells from
while you're waiting for Mike to reply to you there, Thomas had asked another question.
No
Thomas is in the
kidding.
States. He had said primers and powders and bullets are hard to find in the States. How are they in Canada? I haven't bought reloading equipment since all of this bullshit started. I'm
it's
assuming you
getting
guys
slim.
have. Is it getting pretty slim?
Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Challenger.
Oh, yeah, that's right too.
How do you forget Challenger?
Oh, yeah, and
they're
they're arguably the best price shot shells for target loads in Canada.
Yeah.
That's all I ran for 3-gun matches. Them and then Score slugs. So both Canadian made. I didn't know that. There you go.
Wow. But look at this. What Thomas is saying about the primers.
Yeah.
5,000 rounds on gun brokers.
No, I assume
$750.
that's USD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like $18,600 in Canadian.
That's a mortgage. Just for a box of primers.
Well, I mean, you don't have to pay. All you have to do is sign over like a firstborn or something like that.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Fair enough.
What about an X?
Done.
Does she have a firstborn?
Can I sign in blood?
Yeah, but it's mine. God damn it.
Now, before we get in trouble with all of the media platforms, we do not advocate human slave labor or slave trading.
I wasn't talking about slave labor.
Wait.
I was talking about slave
good.
trade.
Why did I have
well,
kids
that's
if
different.
not for- why did I have kids if not for slave labor?
Well, I think slave labor is okay as long as they're your children.
That's right.
Selling your children to other people for slave
Yeah,
labor, I
not
think, is
good
where
stuff.
the problem
No.
comes
Okay.
I don't think anybody was talking about that.
in. Oh, definitely not. RCMP, go on a coffee break.
Yeah. Hi, RCMP.
We love you.
Anyway.
Oh, hell.
Mike has a good suggestion to have Challenger on the show.
Well,
That's
I'm
not a
going to
dumb
have to
idea.
whore myself out to them now that I know they're Canadians.
Yes. You are the whore of this group.
Well, we are the horse.
Oh, damn
we,
it.
we just back you. That's all, Sean.
That's right.
Whoa. Don't say you back him when we're talking about whoring.
Support him. Support him.
I'm not sure
Damn
that's any better.
You can do it. Take a deep breath.
You guys are talking too much from experience now.
Yeah.
I have to
So,
sing one of those sea shanty songs just to do the work.
Speaking of getting sodomized, see the CCFR lost its injunction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great segue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
it's been a shit day for everybody, hasn't it?
It really has, but
did
this
you guys
this was
read
not.
It's not unsurprising, especially once you read the
No.
ruling. Have you guys read the ruling?
I just saw Mr. Loberg's post on the group.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So after I saw his post, I went and read the actual ruling itself, and like he's not just like, you know, what's the opposite of sour grapes? Sour or sweet lemonade. Like he's not making sweet lemonade here. It seems very, very clear that the bar is like I would say unrealistically high. The burden of proof is unrealistically high to get an injunction. And you can see right in it that the judge literally flat out discounts several factors in multiple things.
Like what?
Well, for example, you know, I just let me get real. So here's a great example of one, actually. So one of the tests for getting the injunction has to do with basically putting a company out of business, like interfering with their right to earn a living. Okay. So Wolverine and Maccabee were making that argument in that as part of that argument. Wolverine, for example, was saying that they now have $477,000 worth of prohibited equipment that they can neither sell nor return or anything. Like the money is just lost. And if the government ends up giving them $477,000 for it, they'll have,
which they won't.
But even then, you can't call them as broken even, because how many other costs, like how many costs are they incurring for storing them, keeping them, like, you know what I mean? Like there's no way of breaking even here. So they were making that argument. The judge completely discounted it, because the judge basically said that the bar for determining that has to do with, like, you are out of business, you have no other alternatives,
right?
And she basically said, because they're pivoting and because Maccabee is coming out with another NR qualified rifle platform, because Wolverine is able to sell other products that are still on the market, she basically said, like, because you're able to still run a business, it doesn't matter that the government made you lose and sit on $477,000. And she's basically saying that, like, you can make up those sales by selling other things.
Bullshit.
Well, exactly. Like in the real world, that's absolute horseshit. Because let's say they do sell $477,000 worth of other product, they still have lost $477,000 on the product that's sitting there. You know,
not just the product. Let's say they recoup the costs. They're losing the margin. Let's say, albeit as tiny as it is in Canada, they're still losing those sales to guys like you and me and Kurt. And just because they're diversifying, like in the case of Maccabee, they have no other options. Wyatt put out hundreds of thousands of dollars to get those CNC machines, and not to mention the material and the time that he spent calibrating them and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You know, you'd be stupid to just say, all right, I'm done. My design's gone. Fuck it. I'm out. That's ridiculous. Yeah. That'll bankrupt you.
Yeah. And really, like, if you're considering the nuance and of the situation, in reality, it's very clear that the government is next to running them out of business.
Yeah.
The problem is, and it sounds like really like the judge didn't err here. Like, this is just how our court system works. The bar of proof, if you want to have an injunction, they just set the bar so high that it's basically unrealistic. You know, they also said, because, you know, they were challenging Murray Smith. Maurice Smith is a fucking kickboxer. Murray Smith and his objectivity, or his they're basically saying that he's biased, right? So he shouldn't be able to be used as an expert witness because he's biased. The major argument there, according to the judge in her ruling, is, well, he's worked for the government, you know, for decades. He's only ever worked for the government. He's, you know, and that will, you know, cause him to more side with the government. And so because of his employment with the government, he can't be reliable as an unbiased witness.
But
And the
when that branch of the government, let's say, because I'm under firm belief that the RCMP is not a branch of the government, they're a paramilitary organization. But outside of that, the RCMP makes the law when it comes to firearm regulation now. And being that he's on record now of stating, he won't go on. Well, he's on record saying there is no definition of the term variant.
Yeah. Well, he said that when he was being deposed. Right? Yeah. Well, the judge decided that his employment on its own is not a determinant of bias. So basically, because he worked for this organization for several decades and they're responsible for his entire lifestyle through their wages and everything else, that doesn't mean that he's biased. And again, it's like, seems pretty unlikely in reality, but I guess, the bar is just set so high in terms of an injunction that it's not grounds for an injunction, and that's really how, like, every single point that went, against and literally every single point went against us, essentially us, and the whole thing is just like nuance and circumstance is not accounted for in this sort of an application. So she's just not accounting for it. And without nuance and circumstance, there's no case. Yeah. Which is, I made a comment on the Facebook page, Mike's post on the CCFR, and he replied to it, and he, basically saying the same thing that I was getting. Like I really, they're not saying, but I think that they probably really followed through with the injunction, because like, I wonder if it makes the government, or has caused the government, to put a few cards on the table, so that the CCFR is going to be able to see a little bit better, maybe what their argument is going to be, how they're going to make their argument, what experts are they going to use, and hopefully that will help better prepare them for the actual trial. And my understanding, again, in the actual trial, is the burden of proof, that bar is not set as high as it is in an injunction hearing. So, who knows, maybe these exact same arguments, maybe if they literally make the exact same argument at trial, maybe it will be enough. Maybe it won't. The good news, I suppose, in any case, is that they've already made the argument, and now they have time to strengthen that argument in trial.
Exactly.
So
maybe there's a bit of a feeler exercise then.
Well,
if nothing else, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I don't know how lawyering works. I'm not a fucking lawyer. So I can read the law.
Stop the presses.
I know, right?
What?
I can like read the law and make some reasonable sense out of it. But I remember I defended. Actually, I was originally I was the complainant, and then the guy appealed at Queen's Bench, and I defended myself against actual lawyers, and I still won the case. And I'm gonna fucking brag about that, because I beat some lawyers at Queen's Bench. But I'm not a lawyer. And one of the hardest things when I was in front of an actual judge in the court of Queen's Bench was, like, I don't know anything about their procedure. And procedure and being familiar with how judges make their determinations accounts for so much.
Yeah.
And again, they're not saying, CCFR counsel is not saying anything, and I wouldn't expect them to. But I have to believe that this has, at the very least, this has to help them be better prepared for the trial.
Yeah, true.
Well, the one point that a lot of us gun owners are forgetting is that this is not just about guns. This is property rights in general. And
that overreach thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if that can make an iota of difference in regards to land ownership, in regards to property ownership, etc., it's worth it, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Well, without this sort of pushback, where the fuck is it going to end?
That's right.
Give an inch, take a fucking mile. That's exactly the path we're heading down, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
it's going that way. Yeah. Simon Reynolds says this is about communism. Well, it's maybe not specifically that, but it's certainly starting to look like that a little bit.
If our dear leader has anything to say about it, we'll be just like the Communist Party of China.
Well, you know what though, to throw a little bit of sunshine on the situation, if we can, a little bit. The reality of the
sunshine.
Yeah, I prefer my dark, brooding basement.
Right.
The reality is that the way that Canada goes, we may see more liberal times than we see conservative times, but we see liberal times and we see conservative times.
Yep.
And the way that it goes is the Liberal Party brings in stupid gun laws, and the conservative government works to undo them when they get in power. And the reality is that the Conservative Party will get in power again. I think that Aaron O'Toole has a pretty good chance, to be perfectly honest with you. The longer that this COVID thing is going on, the more, former Liberal supporters in the middle are realizing what a douchebag this guy is.
I don't know.
RCMP, you're still on coffee, right?
Yeah. Are there though? Because God,
I think so.
I have heard a disturbing amount of people still saying that he's doing a wonderful fucking job.
Well, if you look at
social
media,
money that's getting thrown out there.
Well, yeah, and if you look at just social media, you would assume that the CPC, the Conservative Party of Canada, they're going to flat out lose their party ship next election, which is just not the case. It's people are always shitting on Aaron O'Toole on Twitter and Facebook and blah, 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 any sort of news site you go to. But at the same time, he's the most moderate we've had, and he'll appeal to the left-leaning conservatives more.
You're talking about O'Toole?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would assume, but what do I know?
No, I think you're right. I think that, going back to the leadership, and I follow the leadership pretty closely, and I covered it on my old podcast even, but Aaron O'Toole was the second most moderate out of those people. Yeah. When he was running for leadership, he was still running for faith-based policy. Not mentioned that once since he took the leadership. I think he realized that that was the only bit of social conservatism that he was running on. And I think that he realized that to beat Trudeau, you can't run on any social conservatism. And there's been zero of that since he became leader of the party. And I think he's doing a really good job of trying to identify with the middle voters. Because the problem isn't the left. The left is going to vote the way the left votes. And they're always going to vote that way. And the problem isn't the right. The right's going to vote the way the right always votes. And that's the way that it's going to be. The problem and what swings governments is always the middle. But the reality is that the average middle Canadian will not vote further right socially conservative. They will vote further left socialist, but they won't vote further right social conservative. Anyway, that's we don't usually talk politics. We're not supposed to talk politics.
No, we don't talk politics with guests. This is different.
Okay, good. Yeah. Anyway, I think he's got a shot. And I think the reality is, even if we lose this court case, I think best case scenario, court case goes the way of gun owners, and subsequent liberal governments can't do this stupid shit because it's in precedent law. It's ingrained in there's rulings on it in law. Okay. I think that's really our best case scenario here. If we lose this court case, well, we're still at the mercy of the stupidity of idiotic governments making stupid laws, just like we already are. So I really don't see a downside to this at all. And the reality is, eventually, even if we lose the court case, we will eventually get a conservative government. But by
that time, the worry of all of us is that by the time we get a conservative government again, all our shit's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's that. But then again, the long gun registry was in place from 1998 until when was it repealed?
But there wasn't nearly as much focus on firearms until May. That's the difference there, I think.
For us, for sure. But the point being that when was the long gun registry repealed? Do you guys remember?
2012.
2012. So it was for 14 years. The long gun registry was in place, and magically everybody brought their long guns out that weren't registered. They sat in safes for 14 years, but there were so many people that didn't get rid of them. Now this is different
You look at
for
the
a large
numbers
percentage of the guns they're taking
did
are
surrender,
registered.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to talk over you, buddy, but
No, you're right.
you look at the number of guns that were surrendered, though, because of that bullshit after 94.
Yeah, 90.
The long gun registry.
Yeah.
98 was when it took force, I think.
But the law came in 96 or 94.
Well, it was the Firearms Act of 1997 is what the actual legislation was called.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was 94, but anyway.
Semantics. Can we talk about something better?
Oh,
You guys want to talk about something nice?
Okay. What do you got?
No, I literally have nothing.
You want to see what? Okay, we were talking about this off air, but this design baffles me. The Kel-Tec.
How does it make the corner?
Well, yeah. Like, look at this thing. It's a 5.7 millimeter by 28. Same cartridge as the P90, the Ruger 5.7, the FN 5.7. It's a hot shooting little gun, but shout out to Kel-Tec because this is way off the beaten path, and at least they're
right.
At least they're trying. You know,
want to talk about innovation? One thing you can always count on with Kel-Tec is they'll try to be innovative.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, there's a whole lot of engineering costs in there for novelty.
Sure.
I guess, but like, you could take a Coyote with a 5.7, but you could also take a Coyote with a 10 mil. So
take a look at that. Put it back up. Sorry, I totally cut you off. This is a bad image, but you can see on the, like, I wonder if you can put well, in the US they would put a, what do you call it, when it's technically a pistol, arm brace. I wonder if you can attach something onto the back there. And what I would do to this thing, first of all, I'd get a RoboCop outfit. Okay? that's number one.
That is so true, man.
Number two, I'd put a holy Jesus light on the bottom of that thing, on the bottom of that pick rail. I'm talking like one from the 1980s, that's just like from Terminator 1. You remember that laser sight that he had? Like the length and size of the whole barrel. And then I'd put like a Strike Force 2, a big old red dot on the top of that thing.
Why? No,
the gun's ridiculous. Like, make it more ridiculous.
I'll tell you one thing. The first thing I would do is buy a goddamn mask.
A mask? Why?
Right. So nobody could tell it was me handling the damn thing.
Okay, but it obviously takes 90 magazines, right? So you look right in there. Now, right in the middle of the gun where all the cartridges are, all the rims of the cartridge you can see. But yeah, I think that's ingenious. I don't know. I just, you got to give it to, I'm going to take it off the screen now. You can give it to Kel-Tec, as much as you want about ugly shit, but at least they're trying something different.
Yeah.
It's not a high point. Like, it could be uglier.
How dare you, sir?
I think it's really cool. I really do.
Yeah, and like people shit on Kel-Tec, like the KSG, for example, the shotgun, the bullpup style shotgun that I personally enjoy. I like shooting.
You've shot one?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's great fun.
I want a KSG 24 so bad.
Well, so buy one.
Well, I'm saving up for an RDB.
Another Kel-Tec product.
Yeah.
But at least they're trying to do something different and not just another Glock or another whatever AR. Not saying that both those are good or both those are bad, but this is at least different and there's some sort of innovation going on, and that's what I like to see. I don't give a shit how shitty it looks.
You're right about that. 100%. How many companies are just putting out the same old shit over and over again?
Well, okay.
There has not been a major innovation in firearms in how many decades?
That's right. And when I was at the NRA annual meetings, that was the year the Taurus Curve came out, and that was supposed to revolutionize concealed carry for the U.S. And I held that monstrosity, and Jesus Christ, what a steaming pile of dog shit that thing was. And but again, props to Taurus for stepping out of the comfort zone and out of the norm and trying something different. Albeit nobody bought that shit, but That's
But you know what? Lots of people have bought the Judge, and
How
what the
dare
hell's
you
the-
bring the Judge into the conversation? That is a great revolver that I would love to shoot it for.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like most of their other revolvers are super innovative and really cool, and lots of people have bought them.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure. Well, in their Taurus and Kel-Tec, let's call it spade a spade. They're a great budget option. They make great little 22 pistols. Albeit I wouldn't shoot them. I wouldn't shoot them today in weather like we have now in Saskatchewan. Albeit because if like a buddy, what's the 223 rifle? The Kel-Tec SU-16. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine dropped, like we were shooting on a day like today, and he dropped it on the table from like 6 inches up, and it fucking shattered it. And it's a plastic gun that takes AR mags, so you can see it happening. But that was so depressing. I remember that day. Eric, if you're listening, I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry for your loss.
Sorry for your loss.
But
Doug Rodenbush. The painful part of it is the magazine would look empty here when fully loaded. Yeah, 5 rounds in that monstrosity.
Yeah,
but it is a
Canadian platform.
Do you guys want to shift gears a little bit?
Sure. Great question. So I've have you guys seen the Voodoo? Like, have you shot it?
I saw it at the Maple Seed you were at with the South African boys who had it.
Yep.
And oh my God, it just looks so sexy. Just with that, they had Voodoo actions and MPA chassis, Kurt, and it was just
no kidding.
It was drilled all over it.
Listen, that's a $2,200 rimfire rifle, isn't it?
It's super expensive, but you know what? It's super accurate.
It's a goddamn laser beam.
It's based on a 700 platform, which gives you some more versatility with a lot of
pretty much exactly a 700.
The bolt is smooth as butter, man. Like it's
unlike a 700.
Then again, so is the Bergara though. The Bergara B14R.
You know what? So here's the thing. Rick brought a whole bunch of guns with him last year, or last season for Maple Seed. And he had a Voodoo, he had a Bergara, he had a whole bunch of stuff. And we were playing around with them after one of the Maple Seeds. And the Voodoo I thought was really, really, really nice. But you know what? So was his Bergara. So was his 457.
That T1X too is very nice.
Exactly. Right? Like they're all nice. I think sometimes we get and I can understand this. It exists in other things. It's in the car world, in the truck world. It's all the same stuff, right? What's good enough and what on paper is the best. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, if I had the Dosh, I would have a Voodoo. There's no question.
Oh, sure.
At all.
Yeah.
I've got a 452 that I'm completely happy with. The Bergaras are nice. The Tika T1Xs are nice. But for whatever reason, and I think Voodoo back several years ago when they first came out with this, they were kind of, I don't want to say groundbreaking, but they're at the front of the line with this development.
They seem to have started a trend in making a bolt action rimfire based on another centerfire platform.
Woo! Well, Mike now is $2,600 just for the action.
Yeah.
Well, shit, you can buy and trick the shit out of a 457 or a T1X for half that price.
Sure.
Or a Bergara is a Bergara B14R is $1,400 from Bullseye North.
Exactly. Yeah, right? And put an IBI barrel on it, you're still under the price of the action on a.
Well, when he finally comes out with them.
Well, sure,
Ryan, if you're listening, pitter patter, son.
But if you're talking about the T1X of the 457, they already have the barrels for those, don't they?
Oh,
I thought they did.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Both are rifles I don't own, so maybe I haven't been following along. But I can't. Well, and now he has Ryan and IBI International Barrel. He's got 1022 drop-ins.
Yeah. You betcha.
And I would buy one.
Sorry, I'm talking over you. Ryan B. Temps, he's kind of shoot boss for Saskatchewan for Project Maple Seed. He's got an IBI barrel in his 1022.
Yep.
And it's heavy like all IBI barrels, but shoots primo.
Yeah. Well, and the only reason I haven't got one yet is because Gray Birch I've got the Grey Birch carbon fiber 16.1 inch.
I think
sure.
that's a fuck of a good excuse, Sean.
Fuck yeah.
Oh man, can we just take a second and say that we need
Steve
to
and
get
Jeff.
sponsored by Grey Birch?
Yeah.
Well, they kind of did.
Did they? Well, yeah, I guess they did. Hey, yeah.
I mean,
the shit,
I didn't
The shit
exchange
part is
money.
I already had my rifle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They're making they're doing it right, man. I'll tell you what. I'm waiting for. I think all three of us are waiting for the chassis, right?
Well, I was until Kyle Van Rutenberg sent me an Oryx.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm still waiting for their chassis.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm still waiting to see what you guys get.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like a month and a half behind schedule.
Yeah. But
I
they're a
don't
small
care.
company just trying to figure out
and they're going to do it
production, right?
right. Everything else they've put out, they've done it right. They apparently had some problems with the bolts when they first came out. There were some reports of that, but I got one of a bolt out of their second lot, and I've had zero problems. Absolutely zero.
How many
problems.
rounds have you put through it?
Well, through the gun, I've probably put about 3,000 or 4,000. Through that bolt, I've probably put about 1,500.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you installed the barrel, did you have to index it properly, or did you just put it in the way it fits?
No, man, it's a 1022. You
Yeah.
just slide that bitch on and screw your V block onto the proper.
I don't know. I
foot-pounds
haven't shot mine yet, and I've never replaced the barrel in my.
Yeah, no.
Shame.
I forget what the inch pounds are on the V block, but
Wait,
I just
I'm going to go tomorrow, Kurt, and shoot, and then
Okay.
I'll send you a photo of my frostbitten black fingers.
Hey, I sent you a photo of my goddamn snowshoes a couple weeks ago.
You did. That was epic.
if you lived in a real city, you'd have an indoor range to shoot your 22 at.
Okay. Who wants to shoot indoors?
I do actually. Monday
Well,
night.
if it's 22, I would.
I should. I'm waiting on an optic for it. And
Oh yeah,
when that shows up, it's go time. So
there you go.
You betcha.
I've got the worst optic on mine right now. I just repurposed my Strike Eagle 1-8 that was supposed to go on my Stag 10.
what's wrong with that?
Oh, it's a great scope. There's nothing wrong with it. But if I'm going to be doing like 200-300 meter shots, it's only 8 power.
Nah, you can get out there with that.
Oh,
Holy
sure. And then I
treat.
have
Yeah.
I've taken it out to 300 already, just shooting the steel at the outdoor range at SWF. And I think it's like an 8-inch gong there. And, I'm hitting that. It's all good. But I mean, as long as you not one of those guys who likes to dial all the way in, it's fine,
Yeah.
What ammo are you using? What ammo are you using, Chris?
If I'm shooting 100 or less, then for cost, I'm using it's made by CCI Blazer. Thank you. Jesus. So I'm using Blazer. And like out to 100, Blazer is fantastic. And it's like $49 for a box.
Oh, for sure.
So it's super cheap. It's great. And Blazer shoots really well out of my stock Ruger 1022 from the 70s as well. So I'm finding that it's not finicky in any rifle. If I'm going past 100, or the couple times I've gone past 100, I haven't done it in a while because it's so goddamn cold out, but I'm using the Ely Force for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you are.
So I'm not doing that much because Ely Force is flicking expensive. Although XRO has Ely Force as low as $849 a box right now.
Yep.
Oh, is that right?
There's a free plug for Ely, but I don't think the Force.
I'd have to go
I think
pick
the
them up.
Force is $10.99.
Okay.
Whatever.
It's still
It's
good.
normally $16.99 a box, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I thought it was $14.99, but
See,
it's close enough.
I got the Grey Birch, and I took an old bolt that I had out of an old shitty 1022 I've got, and had a local guy polish it up, get it going. I put some pictures on my Instagram if you guys are curious, but I've got Aguila, the brick of Aguila ammo I'm going to test in it. I got the Federal Blue Box. I've got Ely Force. I have SK Match. I have Ely, the green Sport. Ely Sport is the green box. I have a bunch of different ammo, including Remington Gold Bullet. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. I'm going to test it, right?
Absolutely.
So I did testing in mine with Aguila standard velocity, with Aguila it's the high velocity one, the little red white and blue and red box, whatever, with the SK what's their
There's
the
match
stupid
long range. There's
it's the non-match one. What do they call it? It comes in those stupid little tins.
Oh, I haven't seen those.
Oh no, neither have I.
It's a non-match round. It's like their entry-level round anyway. The SK, and then I tried the SK match. The only Ely that I did was the Force, and then Blazer, CCI mini mags, and
How did the mini mags do?
well, mini mags do good in anything, you know. Yeah. But I found across a couple of different 1022s, mini mags for me are really reliable. Like even in a less reliable 1022, they seem to do really good at making sure that you're going to cycle properly and extract and whatever else. But there's definitely more, and they're good at accuracy. But there's definitely more accurate rounds out there for the guns that I've put it through. And frankly, I would say the Blazer has been as accurate as Minimax.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Mike Hynek says SK bulk. I've never heard.
Yeah.
Right.
SK. Yeah.
Was that what you're talking about?
Yeah, they have a different name or something.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it comes in a little tin. SK magazine. No, that's not right. It is a magazine. What the?
Standard Plus? No, that's not it. That's Lapua.
That might be.
Lapua SK. Yeah. Standard Plus.
Standard Plus. That's it. Yep.
Interesting. $84.99 at Tenda for 500 rounds. That's not bad.
Yeah, I paid less, but I got it a while ago.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you know what? I actually was not super impressed with it. When I was running my gray birch with my old factory bolt before I got the gray birch bolt, that SK ammunition, I had the most malfunctions with it. It was to the point that sometimes out of a 10-round mag, I would have up to like 6 malfunctions.
Ooh.
Yeah, and most of them were like failure to extract. But I also had a lot of misfires with them. Like we're not talking light strikes. We're talking like good dented primers that didn't go off.
Just duds.
Yeah.
Huh? Interesting.
You're going to have to go visit the factory.
I still say the amount of Lapua that we use, we should make a trip to Finland one of these days. And
I agree wholeheartedly.
Just make a trip to Finland.
I know.
Shortly.
What's that?
We'll talk about scopes just shortly. Sean, you mentioned earlier about.
Should we?
Should we? Yeah. What the hell?
Well, you kind of have to now. I mean,
let's talk about yours.
Hanging on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, let's talk about yours, Kurt. So for your King of 2 Miles build, Doug and Nisa at March Scopes Canada have stepped up insanely. Like,
unreal.
Oh, we owe them everything. And
I'm
Kurt,
going to every snowstorm. I'm the wrong guy to talk about it because I don't know what it is other than what is the model? It's a 6 to 60
High Master. It's the Genesis High Master in 6 to 60. And basically that's the scope that you're getting has placed 2nd, 3rd, and 5th at the last 2 King of 2 Miles World Championships. Okay.
Unreal.
It retails for $8,400 and change. And Kurt and Doug and Nisa have graciously let Kurt use it for King of 2 Miles this year on his 33 XC.
Basically showcasing the scope. It's
so 300 MOA adjustment into the mount.
Yes.
Well, there we go.
Unreal.
There we go. There's Nisa there. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
So they were
unreal.
Working.
So this scope eliminates that the prism that most guys are using on their rigs to get out 2 miles. This scope, no prism needed. You just bolt it on, and there's all your adjustment in the actual mount of the thing, and pop it off, and away you go. It's I'm oh my god, I'm so looking forward to using that. I even want to use it on the, like I was talking earlier about the 308, using it for practice. Throw it on there and see what I can get out of that damn 308.
350 MOA up, 50 MOA down, they say.
Isn't that crazy?
It's pretty good.
Unreal.
And again, the pedigree on the damn thing is well proven as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. It's the results speak for themselves, right?
Absolutely.
And what a lot of people don't know is that March scopes, you can get them in Canada, and not only in Canada, in Western Canada. There it is, right there. Look
there
at that.
Is.
That
Damn
is
straight.
Gorgeous. Handmade components assembled in Japan. Oh, look at that thing.
Were we talking about innovative looking stuff? Like, just look like that does not look like your typical scope.
No kidding.
It doesn't, but there's a reason for that.
I know, and good on them, right?
Yeah.
The only concern I have is the blur of the front of my 30-inch barrel in the front of that scope. Am I going to be able to see around the muzzle brake?
I like that it's got a pick rail on the top of it too.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool.
I can put my laser on it.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, laser.
Your laser,
put a laser beam on it.
But in 6 to 60, your magnification alone is going to give you, you're going to see everything. And
absolutely.
Can
you imagine the edge that I'll have with that thing over the other competitors at King of 2 Miles?
Guys using Night Force or even Schmidt and Benders, and those aren't no knock to those guys. They're great optics, but
absolutely.
It is not on the same plane as these guys.
Not at all. No.
114 mils of total elevation without utilizing any external accessories. So that essentially eliminates the need for a Charlie Tarek at 3,200 meters.
I am giddy like a schoolgirl at a Backstreet Boys concert.
Oh, well, you are Nick Carter, after all.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, obviously, greatness comes with a cost. So I think that the moral of this story, except for lucky bastards like Sean or Kurt and Sean.
Well, me too. I'm not getting one of those, but I'm getting the 5 to 42 High Master.
Yeah. Well, fuck both of you.
Whatever.
For the rest of us plebs, the important part is interest rates are really low right now.
Yeah.
So go get a loan.
Well, I was telling Doug on Sunday when we were finalizing these deals was, we're not keeping these. These are optics that we're going to showcase. So if you guys want to see them, come out to King of 2 Miles, come out to the Saprel shoot, come out to Kurt's range.
Rooster's range, absolutely.
Exactly, and take a look yourself. It's going to be.
There are going to be many opportunities this summer to come to my range to see that scope in action for sure.
You bet. 300. Okay, I was wrong. 350 MOA up, 50 down.
Yeah, I said that like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Welcome back, Sean.
Yeah, sorry. I was busy trying to find images to show.
You were busy trying to hide your erection because you get to use one.
My perennial erection. Look at that thing. Wait till you see the glass. Like the glass alone coming from Japan is going to be.
Does anybody have an answer to Thomas's question?
Yeah, Thomas has a question. All the adjustments in the scope base? No. Not all of it.
Right.
But most of it.
rough adjustment as I understand it, rough adjustment in the scope base and fine adjustment in the turrets, in the actual reticle. Yeah,
but
that's a cool idea.
Even at 60 magnification at 100 yards, you're going to see 2.25 feet.
I've thought about this a lot in the past several months that I'm going to have to take up yoga in a hard way, because to at 60 power to not see my heartbeat is going to be a task. I can tell you. Absolutely. I can do it at 24 right now.
I don't know if
Yep.
yoga is going to do much for your heart rate. Just
You shut your
get
mouth.
get a tantric sex book and like
We should
when's your
have
birthday? Nancy,
we
when's
should-
his birthday?
we should reach out to Sting to be on the podcast from the police and have him talk to us about mindset and that sort of thing.
Woosa. And Yen's
Wow.
behind me. Now, Rooster. Now.
No.
Now.
Here we go. So Nees is watching. No, all external adjustment, always looking through the center of the glass. And
Yeah.
So there you go, Tom.
Excellent.
Right on, guys. Well, shout out to March Scopes Canada for hooking us up big
Blessed
time.
shout out.
Yeah, and we're going to be taking a trip to Calgary here if COVID subsides, and we're going to show you all that March has to offer.
Don't fucking jinx it. When?
When COVID subsides,
Yeah.
knock on wood,
Restrictions are easing February 19th.
they say that. Shut
Because
up.
if the government moves the goalpost again, I'm going to
Right.
Yeah.
lose my
Exactly.
crap.
Anyway, cool, boys. Well, do we have any shout outs this week? Kurt, let's start with you.
Oh, you would have to tell me that.
Pretty easy shout out, in my opinion.
Yeah, March Scopes. That's really
Doug
the
and
highlight.
Nizo,
Of,
right?
And pluck.
Yeah.
It's really the highlight of 2021 so far. I don't know if it can be topped, but yeah, that pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, that was the final bit to my King of 2 Miles build. Honestly, the action and barrel are taken care of. The machining's taken care of. Jens and I are going to make a trip out to Edmonton to help Steve. I might even chamber my own damn barrel. And stock's coming. Absolutely, man. Get back to the old machining days.
You're not just going to sweep the floors and paint KDX actions, are you?
Listen, am I going to stand there with my hands in my pockets and watch Steve chamber my barrel? I don't think so, Tim.
I mean, he does great work.
He
so
does fantastic work.
You can stand there and drool all over it if you really want. I'm
Yeah,
sure
but
he'd like that.
My 14 years as a machinist should kind of qualify me for at least getting close to that. Oh, shut your mouth, Sean. Don't make me come back there, boy.
Wouldn't that be epic though if he does let you chamber it and then you go on and place?
I would love it.
somewhere. Knock on wood.
Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be epic. So
You would never hear the end of it. You would.
No.
You would.
Hey,
slap
you remember-
my mouth.
yeah,
It hasn't even happened, and we're not
every
hearing
5
the end of it.
minutes we'll be sitting around the fire at your
Remember
your newly built range. Hey, you remember when I chambered my own action and placed the King of 2 Miles? Yeah, Kurt, you told us 5 minutes ago.
You can get buried with a gun barrel, can't you? That's legal, right?
You get buried with a gun if you want.
Yeah. There you go.
You know, back
I mean,
in my
everybody's
back-
got to have something to be buried with.
That's right. That's right. It used to be my bat and my ball glove, but now it's my rifles. I used to play fastball all over the continent, man.
Yeah, rifles are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Way
are
better.
now since I can't throw. Since shoulder surgery screwed up my ball career.
Stupid surgery.
Yeah.
Mr. Christopher. Chris.
Well, you know, this has absolutely nothing to do with guns, and it's completely personal to me. And 99.9% of people aren't going to give half a shit about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. My good buddy Mark, former co-host on my former podcast with me, just wrangled himself a brand new job that's going to really help set up a lot of less stress for him. And he's got a couple of twins that are due on March 2nd. So
was
the
gonna
timing
ask when
couldn't
they're
be
coming.
better.
Awesome.
Well, they're going to be doing C-section no later than March 2nd. But his twins combined are over 10 pounds. So
Holy smokers.
she could pop at any moment. It's hard to say what's going to happen. Oh, all I saw was Sean-sized penis. What was that about?
No.
Kurt saw
All
Sean-sized
fired
penis, or Chris saw Sean-sized penis. He's like, "Oh, you
Like, why are we talking about microscopes?
now you have my attention." Oh, wait,
No wonder
now
we're
I know
no wonder we're
situation.
using 60 power scopes. Anyway, back to my shout out. So anyway, I care about him, and this seems really good for him and his new family.
Hey, Mark.
So I'm shouting
That's
him out,
awesome, man.
and
You know,
congratulations to
we
him.
all care about you, buddy, and it's going to come out the best. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
10 pounds at a time.
Yeah.
Well, man, his poor wife. I feel so bad
Holy
for her.
Lord.
But it's a C-section, so
She
Yeah,
signed
sure.
up for it.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there's still almost a month to go. They're already over 10
Yeah.
pounds.
that's
So,
unreal.
like she's like gets up to walk to the bathroom and then back to the couch, and she might as well run a marathon.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good Lord. You
Yeah.
couldn't pay me enough to be a woman
I know, right?
anymore.
Yeah, now I understand the beard.
Oh, shit.
Heyo. Well, I have two shout outs this week. One to Doug and Niza from March Scopes
Yes.
Canada. They're awesome. Check them out. Hold on. What's our website? marchscopes.ca.
Please do.
Check them out. They have a ton of optics in stock, ready to go. So if you guys are looking for a high-end quality optic, hook them up. Check them out. Tell them we sent you, and they might treat you. Not that they treat you any worse, but they'll treat you really good. Oh, those boys. Yeah. Okay. So marchscopes.ca, check them out. Also, to all of our sponsors, Shane and Steve at EM Precision Rifles, emprifles.ca, Miles and the boys at call sign 66, CS66, Bolt Action Coffee, but also Kyle Van Rutenberg from MDT. We were working on getting Kurt you a chassis, an ESS chassis, but they're back ordered with the psych pods are back ordered so long. So he sent me an Oryx as a consolation prize, I guess. So it's mine now.
Happy to share.
That's right.
I didn't even know I shared.
That's right. But yeah, so those guys also, Bullseye North, Ken Thiessen has given us smoking deals. If you ever check them out, bullseyenorth.ca, I believe. Yeah, I think I've shouted out.
Bullseye actually just got a shipment of like 26 or something like that RDBs. We were talking about them earlier.
Oh.
They also just got the WK180C back in stock. And I think, I don't want to say this out loud in case I'm getting the price wrong, but I
you're gonna
think
anyway.
they're selling it for under $1,200.
Holy smokes.
I think.
Not worth it.
Oh, wait, did I say that out loud?
Oh.
Well, I mean, if you want a 180C, you know,
I mean, yeah, by all means.
it's better to
Buy
get
it.
one for $1,100 than $1,200.
Yeah, that's
Despite
true.
the fact that originally you could get it for under $1,000.
Yeah.
You can also
Yeah,
or
$11.99.
yeah,
$11.99.
which is a good price. But you could also get a Type 81 LMG from the boys at Gothic Line Armory. for
That's
that
true.
price.
Yeah,
True,
they
yeah.
got several still there in stock.
Yeah, if you like Chinesium, yeah.
Well, but yeah, it's a
But it's a Type 81.
yeah.
Well, of course it is. Yeah, no, I'm not saying
And an
don't get it.
LMG with a built-in bipod and a drum mag.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
all day, do it.
all day. It shoots 762 by 39. Anyway, but yeah, what else? That's it. I think. Apologies to Wes Stevens, buddy. We even ran out of time for you this week. Sorry, man. You didn't even have a guest. I didn't even talk to him this week. So sorry, man. He's so mad at me. He's selling all of his guns and getting into bikes.
What does
On
he
the
want
plus
for them?
side, we can get a whole bunch of guns for cheap.
He's selling a Glock 34. If you're
Yeah.
interested, reach out to us on Facebook Messenger, and we will hook you up if you want to do that. So
It's
Pretty
we'll
tricked
call it
out.
The Wes Stevens special.
that's
Yes.
will we? Wes is already special.
Will we?
But also, big shout out to John Johnson and the Dirt Road Scholars for this kick-ass riff and lick. And yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. See you
Do
next
I
week.
get to make a jackass comment during the video?
At
or
the end, afterwards.
After the, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Bye.